You're halfway through a form when it appears. 9 little boxes, 3, 2, 4. And suddenly the form feels serious. Your social security number follows you into jobs, taxes, benefits, credit, and the occasional account recovery maze. We hide it. We warn children not to share it. We treat those digits as if they're a tiny master key to American life. There's just one problem. The number was never designed to prove you are you. Its original job was much less dramatic: keep one worker's earnings from landing in somebody else's file. So how did a filing label escape its folder and become America's unofficial identity number? Why did so many systems adopt it? And if the number points straight at you, why can't knowing it prove that someone actually is you? This isn't a story about a secret master plan. It's a story about a tool that was very good at one job, kept getting promoted, and eventually found itself doing work it was never built to do. Go back to 1936. The new Social Security system needs to keep a running earnings history for millions of workers. Employers send in wage reports now. Benefits may depend on those records years later. Every report has to reach the right person's file. Names are terrible at this. 2 people can have the same one. People marry and change names. Clerks misspell them. Middle initials appear, disappear, then return wearing a period. The government needs a label that stays put. That's what the Social Security number does. Put the same number on each wage report, and the system has a much better chance of sending each report to the correct earnings history. Notice what question the number answers. Not, should this person be allowed in? It answers, which file are we talking about? That distinction barely matters while the number stays attached to wage records, but it won't stay there for long. The rollout moves fast. From November 1936 through June 30, 1937, roughly 30 million applications are processed. In only a few months, a huge share of the working population has the same kind of durable label. And the label works. That's the first payoff. The number spreads because it solves a real problem. It separates one worker from another without forcing every clerk to become a detective. But once millions of people already have a standardized number, other record systems face an obvious temptation. Why build a new label when this one is standing right there? The Social Security number doesn't become a general identifier in one grand ceremony. It picks up new jobs one at a time. In 1943, Executive Order 9397 directs federal agencies to use Social Security account numbers in certain record systems when that helps with orderly record-keeping and administrative economy. That sounds dry. The practical change is: picture government records sitting in separate rooms. Employment over here, taxes over there, benefits down the hall. The rooms don't need identical filing systems. They just need one common way to say, we mean this person. The number becomes that bridge. Then the bridge keeps extending. The Federal Civil Service adopts the number as an employee identifier in 1961. The IRS makes it the official taxpayer identification number in 1962. Requirements involving financial institutions begin arriving in 1970. Those dates aren't the whole history, they show the direction. Each new use makes the next use easier. The number is already familiar. People already have one. Organizations already know how to collect it. Reusing it is cheaper than inventing a brand new identifier and somehow connecting that identifier to every older record. So no, America never gathered in a room and voted to make the Social Security number its all-purpose identity key. It happened the way infrastructure often happens. One reasonable shortcut, followed by another reasonable shortcut, until the shortcut becomes the road. And then the road gets computers. On paper, a number helps a clerk find a folder. Inside a computer, that same number can search, sort, compare, and connect millions of records before the clerk has found the right drawer. The computer revolution of the 1960s helps accelerate Social Security number use. It isn't the only cause, but it makes a standardized identifier much more powerful. Suppose two databases disagree about almost everything. One has an old address. One has a new name. One insists on a middle initial. The other seems personally offended by middle initials. But both contain the same Social Security number. Now the systems have a strong clue that their records concern the same person. Government accountability, office reporting later, documents extensive use of the number as an identifier, and its ability to link personally identifiable information across agencies and systems. That doesn't mean there is one magical database containing every detail of everyone's life. It means separate systems can use the same label to recognize related records. And this is why the number becomes so hard to replace. Every additional connection makes it more useful. Employment records reach the right history. Tax records find the right taxpayer. Benefit and financial systems can distinguish people who happen to share a name. The label is no longer just sitting on a folder. It has become infrastructure. But infrastructure has a habit of collecting responsibilities, and the next responsibility changes the story. Here's the trap. An identifier gets better as more systems recognize it. A secret gets worse as more people know it. Those are opposite career paths. An identifier points that record. An authenticator proves control. This is the person allowed to act. Think of a username and a security key. The username helps a system find your account. The key helps prove you control something bound to it. Learning the username doesn't make someone the owner. The Social Security number became excellent at the first job, but as people presented it to more employers, agencies, lenders, and other organizations, knowledge of the digits became less meaningful as proof. If another person learns your number, the number can't object. It doesn't expire. It can't look up and say, "I came with the other human." Both people can recite the same 9 digits. Historically, some government and private sector processes did lean on Social Security numbers in identification, verification, or authentication-related situations. That doesn't mean every institution did, or that every institution still does. Modern federal identity guidance now draws the line clearly. A Social Security number may help resolve which identity record is involved, but NIST says knowledge of the number is not sufficient identity evidence, and current guidance rejects knowledge-based verification for identity verification. The modern sequence separates the jobs. First, locate the likely identity. Then examine evidence connecting a real person to it. When that person returns, require an authenticator they possess or control. The number can help with the first step. It can't carry the entire process on 9 very tired digits. And now we can see the reversal. The Social Security number became powerful because it was shared widely enough to connect records. That same success made it too widely known to behave like a secret. If the number can't prove identity by itself, why does that box keep appearing? Because asking for an identifier and using it as a password are not the same thing. Employers, for example, collect employee names and Social Security numbers for wage reporting on Form W-2. Other organizations may need the number for taxes, benefits, eligibility, compliance, or record matching. The box may be asking, where should this activity be recorded? It is not automatically announcing, congratulations, anyone who knows these digits is now you. Some systems pair the number with stronger evidence and authenticators. Some use it as one attribute among several, and some legacy or weak processes have trusted personal information that can be leaked, purchased, or pieced together. That matters when we talk about identity theft. The Social Security number isn't the lone cause. Identity misuse can also involve stolen accounts, weak recovery systems, other personal details, or bad authentication design. But a widely reused identifier creates a special kind of tangle. Someone else's activity can become attached to records associated with you. The IRS, for instance, recognizes employment-related identity theft involving misuse of another person's Social Security number. The legitimate holder may not discover it immediately. When the mismatch finally surfaces, multiple institutions may have to separate activity that should never have been joined. The number didn't commit the fraud. The process failed when it accepted weak evidence or made a bad match painfully difficult to undo. And what about those famous last 4 digits? Hiding the first 5 can reduce unnecessary exposure. The IRS permits truncated taxpayer identification numbers on certain payee statements, while government copies retain the complete identifier. Useful, yes. Magic, no. The visible 4 digits are still information about you. Truncation asks, how much sensitive information needs to appear here? Authentication asks, what can this person prove they control? Covering 5 digits helps with the first question. It does not answer the second. Once a number has been compromised, the clean solution seems obvious. Delete it, issue a new one, problem gone. Except the number is attached to a history. In limited circumstances, the Social Security Administration can assign a different number. That can include certain cases involving continuing problems after identity theft remediation, harassment, duplicate assignment, or other specified situations. But new digits don't create a new past. The old number may already connect years of legitimate employment, tax, benefit, credit, and other records. Break every connection and the person may appear to have no history. Preserve the connections and some problems tied to the old number may follow the trail. The Social Security Administration warns that a new number can create record or credit difficulties and does not erase records associated with the former number. Changing the label is one task. Repairing every relationship built around that label means many separate tasks spread across systems that do not all answer to one another. That is why recovery can feel so stubborn. You're not merely protecting 9 digits, you're correcting years of connections made with them. So how did a wage record number become an unofficial identity key? It worked. It gave Social Security a stable way to match workers with earnings records. Rapid coverage made it common. Federal decisions expanded its administrative use. Tax and financial requirements extended its reach. Computers made it even better at connecting records. And once many systems depended on it, reuse kept beating replacement. No single villain, no single switch. Just layers of practical decisions building on the last layer. The mistake wasn't creating an identifier. Complex systems need identifiers. The mistake was expecting information that points to a person to also prove who is standing there. Those jobs need different tools. Use identifying attributes to find the likely record. Use evidence to connect a real person to that identity. Use an authenticator the person possesses or controls when they return, and build recovery around the fact that authenticators can be lost or compromised. That arrangement is less glamorous than a master key. It is also much safer than asking one widely circulated number to locate the record, prove the person, unlock the account, and somehow clean up the mess afterward. The Social Security number can point a system toward records about you. By itself, it cannot reliably prove that the person presenting it is you. And the larger lesson goes beyond 9 digits. Old infrastructure rarely gets redesigned every time it receives a new responsibility. A tool works, so we give it another job, then another. Eventually, it may be carrying a duty that requires the opposite of what made the tool successful in the first place. So the next time a system asks for information about you, there's a useful question hiding behind the form. Is this information helping the system find me? Or is the system pretending that finding my record is the same thing as proving I'm here? That number was never a broken password. It was a successful label that too many doors expected to behave like a key.